All right, we're live on the profile there.
Okay.
Let's see. What else? Your public figure page. Are we live there? Yep, we're live there. All right, and those were the two big ones, right? My profile and your profile, and then the public figure page is where you had, uh, I believe, quite a bit of interaction comment-wise there.
Yes.
All right, so I've got my profile and yours open. Do you have those links?
Um, yes, I'm opening them now.
Okay.
Are these that's the same links you sent me from yesterday, right? Or from Friday.
No, they probably changed. I'm going to put
Oh,
them in Nifty right now for you.
oh, I see them there. Thank you. Oops, I gotta turn that volume down. But
You
yes,
can
we
mute the
are
tab if you right click on the tab. You can mute it, or you can just pause it so you can just see the comments coming in.
I have it on my phone, so it's easier.
Gotcha. Let me put your public figure page in there. I don't know which is which. One's your public figure and one's your personal profile. And then I guess Obeo should be easy enough. The project group, which I think you already have open. Cool. We got some viewers on my profile. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll be getting started very shortly here. All right, we're at the just about the 1 minute mark here. All right, here it goes. It's getting the final minute countdown here. All right. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we are live. Well, we were
Hey
live
everybody.
before, but
Hello, hello. Hey everybody, how you doing today? Joshua, great to see you again.
likewise, likewise.
Yeah, so for anybody that is joining us, if you want to leave any questions or comments in the boxes below, then we will certainly share those questions and comments with everybody so that we can create a conversation as best we can. Our goal here, of course, is to empower and equip you with new insights, new strategies, and tools that help make your life a little bit easier and that help you to live life on your terms and accomplish goals that are meaningful for you and to get unstuck if you ever feel that way.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
and by the way, thank you very much to everybody who joined us on Friday. That was awesome.
Yeah.
We had some really great interaction that I thoroughly enjoyed personally. And I know you did too, Tim. So thank you. And we're looking forward to a whole bunch more of that, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. So today we have a theme, and it's the, 5 signs to know if you're infected by mental malware. So maybe we should just do a short recap for anybody that did not join us on Friday, and quickly talk a little bit about the human operating system and mental malware and what that all is. So you want to go first? Or you want me to?
Go for it, Tim. Go for it.
So again, a simple metaphor, our smartphones are computers that have an operating system that run applications, software applications that are designed to make our life better. Some of these apps are really, really helpful and useful, and some of them can be kind of a waste of time. So we are also always being sent updates. Our phone, I'm every couple of days or every couple of, every week, I'll get a message from Apple saying, hey, we have a new security update. It will get rid of any malware, which malware is like computer viruses that we accidentally download that prevent our programs, our applications from running the way they're supposed to, optimally. And so it gets rid of that. It also protects us from future attacks, because there's always hackers out there that are trying to mess with our life, for one reason or another. So it turns out us humans also have, our mind has an operating system. And our operating system also runs apps. I call them mind apps. And Joshua and I have found over the years that we also accidentally download these mind viruses that we call mental malware. And these mind viruses affect our operating system. And the problem with malware is that a lot of times we don't know that it's there. We don't know that that's what's getting in our way. And so we think that sometimes we need to have, a stronger sales background or better marketing tools, or we need more technology, or we need a higher converting sales funnel, or maybe we need to be posting more on the 15 different social media sites that you may have. And what we found is that it just exhausts us, right? We're going and working as hard as we can work, and we're still not getting the results that we want. And so I remember, Joshua, you said one time, the biggest struggle that entrepreneurs have is that they're trying to get new apps and build better programs and get more programs, but the programs aren't the problem. People already have amazing programs. The malware that's inside of their operating system is not allowing those programs to work at their fullest. And
Yeah.
what we need to do is get rid of the mental malware.
Yeah, and I think that even it's even more insidious. The mental malware can get in there. It's like it might start as a virus, but then it turns into the malware, and the whole purpose of the malware is to wreak havoc, right? Whether it's on your computer system or in your mind, and
Yeah.
it's to trick you. I mean, basically, it's to trick the system. And I was really reflecting on what we were discussing on when we did a deep dive towards the end, I believe with Sandy, and I was
Yeah.
really it captured my thoughts this weekend and my heart, and I started thinking about it because, like, one of the things that the malware ends up doing is it tricks you into believing that what you think is an absolute fact is in fact not the way that it has to necessarily be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that was an excellent point that was brought up on Friday, which was like, you see all these crazy outlandish promises and these different things that are going on, and you come to think that you have to behave like they're behaving in order to have the same success that supposedly they're having. And what I realized that I didn't realize on Friday was that that was like a prime example of malware tricking us into trying to address the wrong problem, trying to solve for the wrong issue. The issue isn't trying to make everybody that we don't agree with stop doing what they're doing, because that really has no effect on our future, our vision. But we look at the situation, the circumstances of what is, and we say, well, the malware gets in there and it tricks us into believing that because the situation looks a certain way, because the circumstances is playing out in a certain way, that means that I'm under the control. I can't do what I want. I can't live from my vision. I can't then implement it. And that's where like a living, breathing example of the malware is just like there, and it's really tricky, right? I mean, because we think that that we're totally in control. We think that it's perfectly logical, and it is, because it appears on the surface, yet we're reacting rather than responding to what we truly want to have happen from a place of vision versus a place of circumstances.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's challenging, this mental malware, especially for entrepreneurs and business professionals, leaders, sales pros, the people that would be attracted to watching a live stream like this. You're already
even
super
healers,
talented.
Right? Like
Yeah,
even
healers. Yeah, anybody that feels like they have something inside of them that makes them want to live life on their terms, or they want to make the world a better place, right? Those two people tend to be the types of people tend to be the ones who are drawn to this, because Joshua and I have both been in the game for decades, and you can't work any harder than you can work. You train yourself, you're working on yourself, you're providing as much value as you possibly can, and yet it feels like the dots still aren't being connected. Or you're still feeling stuck. Or I've heard so many times, and I've said this myself, at this age, I can't believe I'm still dealing with this, or struggling with, or feeling stuck with this. And so everybody's experiencing a different challenge. Some people are, still struggling to make that money. They've offered a tremendous amount of value and done the work, but they're still not making the kind of money that you deserve to make. Or other people have made the money, but they're still not happy, or they feel like they can't get off of that insane hamster wheel that they built, right? Because if I stop, then it's all going to come crumbling down upon me. And so,
well, and there's a prime example, right? Because the hamster wheel that we think we can't get off of, where the malware has tricked us into believing that we can't stop running on it. And we truly, like that, we equate that to death. Like if we stop running, we're going to die, in one way, shape, or form or another.
That's exactly how it feels, that we have to have momentum. And if we don't have momentum, who cares about being happy or sad as long as I have momentum? Well, whoa, wait a second. I thought you cared about being happy. Why are we doing this to begin with then? Just to create more, just to have more? I was having a conversation with someone this morning who's a super achiever, and we were shifting her main approach. Her approach was, I'm all stressed out, and it's keeping me from conquering the world. And I said, well, why do you have to conquer the world? What is it inside of us that makes us feel like we have to conquer the world? Usually it's based on malware. It's based on insidious belief that we're not enough if we don't somehow have all these achievements, that we're somehow not good enough, or we're not going to have the validation that we secretly crave. Why do we want that money or that fame, or, to be the star, or everybody know who we are, to have a best-selling book? Why? And often if you dig deep enough, it's because that malware is in there making us feel like we're not enough without it.
And that just reminds me of something that you said on Friday that I think is really an important tie-in. You talked about like when it feels good, that's an indication of inspiration. And you mentioned the word stress, that she's all stressed out because she can't continue to, she can't conquer the world because of the stress. Well, I would venture to say that the malware that she's been battling to try to forcefully overcome the effects of it is what's creating the stress, is what, so like, it's not a question of like, like there isn't one more skill to get. There isn't another capability. I'm not saying that we can't all continually to grow and improve, but I'm saying like if we just drew a line in the sand right now and we got rid of the stress that was, and if we realize that the stress comes from trying to fight with the malware, trying to force the malware with some new stuff to overcome the malware. And if we just allowed the malware to be dissolved, and that's where your brilliance comes in, man. I mean, like, so like if you can just get rid of that, then what happens? Like all of a sudden, nobody's holding your head underwater anymore, so that you don't have to fight to keep afloat.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really great metaphor. You suddenly, instead of feeling like you're under the water, you are on a raft, in a pool in Mexico, floating on the water with
Right.
a drink with a floppy umbrella on there. And it happens instantly. When I removed that malware that was running in her mind this morning, she immediately shifted. I mean, instantly
Right.
felt lighter, more free, more peaceful, more at ease. And I have a strong belief in my mind that the more fun you're having, the more successful you become. It seems like the most exciting things happen while I was having fun.
Yeah,
My clients were having fun. I have a client one time, she said that she had been working so hard and pushing, and it seemed like the harder she pushed, the more resistance she got. So she was just going to take a break. And she said her and her husband flew out to Colorado. They were in this lodge and there was a hot tub outside and it was snowing. And she said, I was literally walking to the hot tub. The snow was coming down. I had a glass of champagne waiting for me. My husband was already in the hot tub. I'm walking to it. My phone rings. I decided to answer it just real quick in case it was someone from home. And it was a client it was a big client that had been blowing me off. And they called up and they wanted me to know that I got the deal. And she said it made that hot tub even better. Right.
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
happened because she was having fun. Right. Yeah. She took the pressure. I believe that she put the work into it. But then when you release it and you let it go and you still stay safe, when you still feel secure, you're able to attract situations into your life that help you feel more secure. But if you're constantly coming from anxiety, that's code for scarcity. And scarcity
which is also
is
code
going to
for malware.
Yeah, which is that's exactly right. And that just attracts more scarcity, right? So, we plant the seeds, and then we know that the seeds have the magic inside of them. You don't have to stand over the seeds in the ground going, grow, grow, grow. You don't have to do that. The seeds already have the magic inside. They know what to do. Our job is to get them in the ground. You got to plant the seeds. And the malware doesn't want us to do that. It keeps us from focusing, from following through, from making bold moves, from getting those seeds into the ground, because the malware tells us, well, it ain't going to work out anyway. Or who you fooling? Who do you think you are? You're not special, or what? You're not happy with what you have. You got to have more. And that malware keeps us from planting our prosperity seeds.
For sure. And going in with the assumption of it being successful, with the assumption of it working. So often we go into something, and because of our past malware experiences, our past life experiences, we go in and on the surface we're trying to pump ourselves up, and we might even have hope that it will be super successful, but there's that catch somewhere in us where we don't really, like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to quote unquote give it my all. But in reality, it's like we expect it not to work. Mm-hmm. And like, how can it work if truly inside your come from what you're looking for is how it's not going to work, how this time it's going to get you again. And you're going to get let down yet one more time. And so even if it has the best of intentions, and that's why it's so powerful. Like I believe, at least, like I wasn't a part of your conversation this morning, but I believe that one of the reasons why she could shift so clearly and so quickly and have such an empowered state once the malware was gone is because all the work, all the groundwork has been laid, all the stuff in there, all our skills, all of our intentions are there. And if we just can remove that negativity, that's that catch in our brain, then all of a sudden our expectations can be one of success, can be one of, yeah, like there's a way. I'm resilient. I can figure out how to make this work. I can make this work. And, it might not be a straight line. It might be more of a tic-tac zigzag line, but we can figure it out. We can use the tic-tac to figure it out. Then, wow, like it's not a question of if I'm going to have success with it, but when and in what format and how big.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, one of the reasons why I love working with you, Joshua, is because you have the ability to think big. I mean, one, because you've been there. I mean, you've produced programs that created, $50 million in revenue. That's a big number. That's hard. I've not done that yet, right? And so that kind of confidence and experience. So the reason that I mention that is because another giant mistake and a big malware problem, one of the signs of malware is that we feel like we have to figure it all out by ourselves. That if we don't
you just took the words right out of it. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. If we don't do it by ourselves, that means that we're not smart enough or tough enough or good enough, which is all false, right? In fact, I say this a lot, but when I turned 50, last year, I decided that I didn't want to do anything by myself anymore. It's one of the reasons why, I reached out to you, Joshua, and said, hey, let's collaborate, because all I'm doing is collaborating with people because, one, it's way more fun. And two, it's way more effective to have two brains coming at it at a situation instead of just one. And the reason why we want to do groups and create these group experiences is because now we have all these brains of brilliant people working together, trying to figure out how to make it work for your specific situation. And I think that is so powerful because, it combines two elements that you rarely see. I mean, there are mastermind groups, and then there are experiences that you go to where you try to get rid of some of the mental malware. But I haven't seen any groups where you do both. And
I'm looking at all these comments that I was missing that I hadn't seen. That
I know my phone's lighting up too. So welcome to everybody. Hi, Sandy. Great to see that you're back again. Cassandra, thank you for being with us. Cassandra, you had made a comment about that's called deliverance. I have learned over the years not to assume. So that's why I asked you. Can you elaborate on what that means? Because I want to know what it means from your perspective. I can guess, but I'd rather.
It's funny nonetheless. And
yeah.
Yeah. So she just answered.
So here's the reply. What you described as a feeling, a sense of freedom or release. The woman experienced when you counseled her this morning. Yes, that's right. And hang on. In the faith community, we say people are locked in prisons, yes, of pain, doubt, fear, the scarcity mindset, or limiting beliefs. Amen. When you clean out the malware, it is the same as being set free from a prison, our mental prisons, hence deliverance. Oh, come on. That's beautiful. What? Right. Yeah, that's outstanding. Yes. Yeah. See, I couldn't have said it that good. That's why I asked.
No, so that's beautiful. Awesome.
Oh, yeah, so good.
And it's exactly what we're trying to, bring forth. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not trying. We're doing, right? We are going to.
Good point.
We're setting people free from our mental prisons. And I say our because, I've had them, and every once in a while I'll fall into them, and every once in a while down the road I'll fall into them. And Joshua would say the same thing because that's part of growth, right?
Can I share one of my malware themes that was a big issue for a while until I saw what it was? Please. I call this the trying to figure it out syndrome.
Yeah.
And that was a big piece of malware because I don't know if everybody's experienced this, but I know I certainly was raised this way. In order to overcome all of the self-sabotage patterns, we have to know where they came from. And we have to understand how they came to be and in order to do them. And what I realized is that's not releasing them. That's not letting them go. That's actually reliving it. And, that's the malware, right? It tricked me. It tricks you into believing that it's true. So what I ended up doing is I spent all the time trying to figure out the root of the problem and where I wasn't focused on the vision, and that was like kind of connected to the vision versus circumstance type conversation. Like, are you operating from a place of what you say you want to have happen, where you say you want to go, versus the circumstances or the situation is out external of you, and that's somehow limiting you or controlling what you're allowed to do, the rules. And that's really, like, I know I'm all pumped up now, but what I realize is that the malware is really a set of rules, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so is a belief system, right? It's a set of rules. Your operating system is a set of rules. It's a set of libraries. It's a set of things that empower you, that inspire you, that bring forth from you something of vision that you say you want to have happen. Well, malware is the same thing. It's just coming from a different standpoint. It's designed to. It's a set of rules that limits your results, and but the rules. It's kind of interesting because the rules are completely made up, because they are a belief system. But it ends up, kind of glomming together rather than onesie twosies into these big themes. Like, as soon as I was able to work on directly and release that I need to figure this out first in order to move forward, it immediately slingshotted me. Like, I can't even, describe what happened, because it was affecting every single area of my life, not just business, not just my relationships with my wife and my daughter. Like, all of it was there. And I would sit there and replay the exchanges that I had with so and so in my head, and in, like, to try to figure out where they were coming from and figure out what was going on and figure out the story behind the story, so to speak, instead of, like, what do I want to create from this point forward? Like, if I gave up the need to be right and to make other people respect my rightness, what could I accomplish with them? What do I really want to see happen? So, like, that's those are some really big things, and it's like an overarching theme. So when I think of malware, I don't just think of, like, the small little things, because that's what, like, I used to work on. Like, each time something came up, I would, all right, so here's something that I get to here's a weed in my garden that I'm going to pull out, like, to use your analogy from Friday, Tim. But it took so long. Whereas when you can get at the root of these themes and work to those roots, man, that's so much faster.
Oh, it is. Because, when people would show up to my counseling office, they'd have a grocery list of all the problems, all the symptoms of the malware, that they're like, well, I have a lack of focus and I can't stay motivated and I'm terrible at following through. I can get started, but I can't seem to close the gap. And, oh, by the way, I'm eating too much sugar and I'm fighting with my spouse and I'm sleeping in too much. I'm having a hard time getting out of bed. If we would have focused on every one of those symptoms, we would have spent years and it wouldn't have changed anything, because you get rid of one weed, it just grows another weed.
and then the malware even tricks us. Well, the reason I don't have the energy is because I'm eating too much sugar in my diet. So then we focus in on there, but that's not really why we don't have the energy. The reason why we don't have the energy is that we're fighting with this malware.
Yes, that's exactly right. And it's funny because malware, duplicates and replicates, and it just causes a whole bunch of more problems that weren't there before. Like human beings have this terrible habit of trying to avoid pain by doing things that create more of it. So I'm not sleeping well, so I'm going to start drinking more wine before I go to bed, which messes up your sleep, makes you feel hungover the next day, and then you're tired that day, and then it just keeps going on and on. Well, maybe instead of the wine, then maybe I need to have a cigarette, or maybe I need to have a little bit more fun, so I'm going to eat all this junk food, and then it just perpetuates on itself. And the whole time that malware is in there kind of laughing, saying, and driving that message that it doesn't matter what you do, it's not going to work out anyway, because you're not good enough to be able to work it out.
Yeah, and it tricks you from dealing with that.
Yeah.
By distracting you. Oh, well, the reason you don't have energy is because you need to drink more water. Great. Not to say that that isn't a good thing to do. The reason you don't have energy, well, now you're drinking enough water. Well, the energy, now you got too much sugar in your diet. So you're getting these peaks and valleys. Meanwhile, what's going on is that you're chasing down that next thing that is just a symptom of the true root problem, which is the malware. And the malware has distracted you, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's very funny. And you know what? I kind of view the malware as like division. And I don't know, this is a very old movie, probably in the 80s with, who's the Beetlejuice guy? I'm Michael
Keaton.
Keaton. Yeah,
Yeah.
Keaton. There was a movie that he did. I don't think it got very much pass around, but he got it was called Multiplicity. And he basically made copies of himself.
Yeah,
So that he could then go. But each time he made a copy of the copy, and a copy, like each copy was a lesser version of himself. So, and then he made copies of the copies, and the copy, and so it denigrated down, and that's division, right? But when you have a clear foundation and you're operating from vision, then it's geometric progression upwards. It's expansion. It's forward thinking. It's abundance versus the spiral down, and it really is insidious. Sandy's writing some good stuff here.
Yeah, let me read that out. And
yeah,
we
go
got
ahead.
Vernell's with us. So Vernell, great. We're glad you're here. Dan's with us. Hey, Dan, how are you today? So lots of great people. So Sandra's saying, yes, Joshua, I think that traditional therapies teach us to think that we have to understand and figure things out and look into the rearview mirror too much, and it keeps people stuck. I love, she also says, I love the Sedona method. It's very simple. I use it. I said it's very simple. I use it in my practice, and it helps people learn how to let go of staying in those malware states of mind, wanting approval, control, security, want signals, lack of, and cause anxiety. Yes. So whenever we're feeling that anxiety and that stress, just pausing for a moment and being able to shift can get you out of that state. What we found is that that's great, and it gives you a sense of peace because you're able to redirect and refocus, but it never really clears up the malware. It just allows you to kind of build a program on top of the malware so that, okay, I got my email to work, but there's still bugs in it and there's still something that's wrong, but at least I can send out an email. So we're happy that we can at least send out an email, right? But we didn't actually clear up the malware that's underneath it. And so you're going to have more problems with the email or deliverability, right? Or something sending out an email on your behalf, and then one of your friends saying, hey, did you mean to send me this email? Right? No, I didn't. And so so that's why we want to take a look. Now, I also agree with traditional psychotherapy, what I was trained in. They want you to look in the past, but often you're looking in the past so that you can talk about it and try to get new self-awareness, which is fine, but it takes forever. Where our process goes right to the source of the malware. It goes right to where the root cause of it, so that we can pull it out and clean it up right then and there, and then upgrade the entire operating system instead of, bits and pieces of it. And that's why it works so much more effectively, and why the results are sustainable. Instead of having to be in therapy for 30 years, you go through, these experiences, and it empowers you for the next 30 years.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I totally agree with everything that you said, Sandra, particularly about the Sedona method. I'm a big fan of Hales and, of course, Lester Levinson from way back in the day, and I've listened to some of his original recordings back from the 1950s. So I could not be more enthralled with and more groundbreaking than some of the insights that were shared from Hale and from Lester. And one of the things that I've noticed that happens a lot is that people think they're releasing, but when in fact what they're really doing is they're doing a mental rehearsal where they're replaying the scenario happening again and again, and they're reliving it rather than letting go of it. And so they don't recognize sometimes that they're that they're playing that mental movie over, and then they're judging the movie. They're they have all this energy about what went on in the movie, how they were wronged in the movie, or whatever. And so it's very fascinating that even in a methodology that works so brilliantly, there still can be like if you're not seeing the attachment that you have to the memory, and you're not, then that's a sign of the malware kind of like attaching itself to your thought processes. So
yeah. So let's talk about some of the symptoms, because that's what we said we were going to do today, some of the signs of mental malware. And then Sandy's asking, are you going to talk about how your system works? Sure. Yeah, we can talk about whatever we want, right? Whatever you want. So signs of mental malware, we've already talked about some of that. If you feel like you're struggling, if you feel like you're going in a circle, if you feel like you're in this rat race and you can't get out of it, if you feel like if you slow down, or spend any time relaxing or taking care of yourself or spending more time with your family, that somehow something bad is going to happen, that's a sign that you have mental malware. Other signs are like procrastination. If you keep putting things off, and why are you putting things off, right? Are you putting things off because you think it's just going to be more work? Are you putting things off because you think that it's not going to really matter anyway? I don't want to bust my butt again and put all this effort in and then it doesn't produce anything. Are you procrastinating because your brain just associates pain to the goal? Like, what if I put myself out there and nobody signs up or nobody cares about me? I would rather not put myself out there than make myself vulnerable and then have to deal with the letdown or the disappointment. So, these are common signs of mental malware. So you got procrastination, self-doubt is another big one.
Some of the when you talk about procrastination, some of the mental malware of the reason why that procrastination takes hold, like I see this for myself, and I see this for in clients that I work with, is like a offshoot of the trying to figure it out or needing to figure it out is, well, I've got to learn everything that there is to learn first. Then I'm going to put it into action. And the problem with that is that unless you learn and do simultaneously, there's always going to be a gap, because even if it was possible to learn it, perfectly, all of the techniques, and have that epiphany, that perfect clarity, there's always a big difference between knowing what to do intellectually and actually being able to put it into action in your particular situation as it needs to be adapted, and then to fine tune it. Like, even if you could master it perfectly and pass a test or even teach it better in theory than the person that came up with it, there's still a gap between learning and actually effectively doing in your situation. And there's like two pieces of that, right? There's the doing part in general, to the learn by doing and the learn and doing simultaneously so that you can get the feedback. And then there's the adaptation, because it's always different depending on exactly your situation and how you want to be, utilizing it and applying it. So.
Yeah, it's true. There are different levels of it, and being lectured to is one way to learn, the lowest way to learn. Having a conversation is a little bit better, but then doing is a whole other level of experience. And then teaching others how to do it is a whole other level of experience, right? And so, when I
What's
first...
that Chinese proverb? Something about like, tell me and I'll forget. Explain it. Yeah. Or like I'll understand, and then show me how to do it, and I got it, or I'll something. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it is. Yes. So when I was first, learning how to do hypnosis, I had to get out there and practice, and that's how I really got better. That's, I think, why they call it a practice. Because that's what you're doing essentially, and learning what works and what doesn't. And then I had to learn how to actually run a practice and do the business part of it, because I was a great, talented, broke hypnotist at the time and counselor. And so then I had to learn how to do the business. And then, fast forward years later, then I opened a hypnosis school to train other people. And I thought it would be the same thing, but it wasn't. I had to have a whole different skill set to be able to teach other people how to recognize the, nuances and the subtleties that I was noticing that allowed me to help people. And then I hired some really talented hypnotists, and then thinking that I was going to have all this free time, but I just spent all my time, instead of with clients, I spent it with my hypnotist, training them. And that was another level of experience of coaching people who are coaching people. Right. And it just continued. And then I got into corporate America and started working with these companies and these high performing teams. And I didn't come from corporate America. So learning that dynamic and watching what happens and the power plays and the struggles and the silos. And, it was a whole new world. And I had to learn how to get in there and train people at that level. So it was constantly learning. And I will tell you, I could not have done all of that by myself. I could not figure it out by myself. There's no way that I would have been able to just intellectually get it. I had to be in the trenches. I had people mentoring me at every level of the game. Even when I was in corporate America, I was so lucky to have Troy Hanna, who was the president of the company that I was with for 6 years. And he was a mentor of mine. He was helping me understand how the company runs. And, Ediba, I always say that wrong. He'd be laughing right now. Atiba or whatever it is. He was helping me understand how the numbers work and what margins are, and and top line versus bottom line revenue, and all these other, this lingo. A KPI. I didn't know what a KPI was, key performance indicator, right? I didn't know what those were. And so he was mentoring me at that level while I was teaching him my psychology tricks. And it would be impossible to know, to been able to do that on my own. So, having someone with you as you're going through this experience, in my opinion, is way more effective, no matter how smart you are. I used to think, well, just give me your technique. Like with the Sedona method, I thought, well, what is the Sedona method? And if I just can figure out what it is, and it turned out to be some questions. Right. But there's a whole philosophy underneath that makes the questions more effective. But I was smart and I was busy. Right. So I was just tell me I don't want to have to spend hundreds of dollars for you to give me, a new tool that's probably a twist on what I already know. My little bit of arrogance there. Right. A little bit. And just give me the technique and I'll ask the questions and I'll be on my way. And, you never master anything if you're doing that by yourself, because you're still then by yourself, which makes you the judge of things. And if you're the judge of things all the time, then you're not getting outside feedback, and nobody's mirroring back the symptoms of the mental malware that you're not catching, your own blind spots. So it's another reason why I collaborate now, because if I'm missing something or I'm not catching something or I'm not saying it in the right way, Joshua steps in, which is awesome. And if he's missing something or something else, then I can step in, and it's so powerful. And now sharing this experience with you, we can help catch what's going on with you. Now we're gonna shift this platform eventually so that we can talk to each other instead of you just typing comments, because it's a little artificial, because we won't be able to really fully understand what you want to convey unless you're able to chime in. So we're going to figure out how to do that. But for now,
well, I can bring people in, Tim, if they want to reach out to you, private message, and you want to add them in future things. I can add guests on, and we can talk to them just like we're talking through to each other now.
Yeah, we definitely want to do that. So Cassandra is saying, tell me and I will forget, show me and I may remember, involve me and I will understand. Confucius. Love it. And then, oh, I see. Okay, so we have, hang on, I got to refresh my screen.
There's two different versions. I guess Ben Franklin had a version of it, and it's like, there's nothing new under the sun, right? Confucius, quite a few years before Franklin, but still the same same sentiment, and yeah, it makes total sense.
Yes. So give me 1 second. I have to.
And while you do that,
Okay,
why
here we are.
don't
I found
all
it.
right,
Sorry,
you
I
found
didn't
it?
mean to
Okay.
pause. Yeah, so Lisa's with us. Hi, Lisa. How are you? So Lisa says, tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I learn. Ben Franklin. Awesome. So, okay, awesome. Yeah, and Sandy's just confirming.
Ben got it from Confucius. Perfect.
You're right. Yes, you are right. So, and Sandy's like, yes, it's being able to great to hear both of us, because we do have different approaches and different ways of communicating. And when you bring that together, now imagine that we're, all of us in a room together, sharing, connecting, figuring out where you're at, where you want to be. For me, that would be a dream come true, because I've been a part of so many seminars and trainings and meetings and things like that. And I've never really had, except for one time, I had an experience of having a mentor who would personally get into our business and help us figure out how to apply what we were learning, and then also empower the group. The problem in a lot of situations like that is that trainers become too busy, or they let their egos get in the way, or because of their own mental malware, they have issues that come up that end up deteriorating the relationship. Like they've always got to be in charge, or they always got to be the one that is seen as the smartest or the leader. Joshua and I could care less about that.
I agree.
We have slayed our egos, and if they come up, we give you permission to slay them for us, because we're just not interested in that anymore. We really want to provide value because it's fun and because we're good at it, and it helps us because it gives us something really a great way to use our time so that we feel like we're making a big difference. We have plenty of stuff that we could be doing that makes money, or that could be that we could, other things that we could be doing, but we just enjoy this so much that we're going to keep doing this for a long time, because we know the value that we can create helping people in a group format, like this, as opposed to doing the one-on-ones. I've done literally 15,000 one-on-one sessions.
Still, it's
Literally, that's a real
mind-boggling to
number.
me.
Yeah, I started counting them and going back through the calendars, because I was seeing 60 clients a week, for many, many years. And so that's why my hair fell out. And so now, now we're doing it in this way, and it's going to be so much more fun. So Cindy's with us. Hi, Cindy. Welcome.
Hi, Cindy. The exciting part for me is that, like, even in the last two live streams, even though it's been difficult to navigate the comments and figure out who's commenting where and staying on top of it, the way that people's point of view gets discussed enhances my own understanding, my own awareness, and I love it. I mean, like, it's a part of the journey. So, like, what gets any better when the participants are the star, but also you get to facilitate it and enjoy the benefits and increase the awareness yourself. It doesn't get any better, man.
I had a mentor one time. He said, Tim, quit trying to be the star and be the puppet master. He said, quit trying to be the puppet, dance around on stage, getting everybody to love you, which is what I was doing at the time. And he said, quit trying to be the star and really help other people be the star. Spend your life helping other people be the star.
Yeah.
And I, of course, was like, hell no, I want to be the star. I wanted to be the Tim show. I want all, because I needed that, I wanted that validation. I wanted that approval, because my malware in my head was saying that you're not good enough, and who do you think you are? And so at the time, I didn't want to give that up, but I've had that now. I've had the awards, and I've had enough pat on the backs and enough people saying you changed my life. And that means so much that I don't need it anymore. I don't need the pat on the back anymore, or that adulation, or the, and because of that, it's allowed me to be more clear, right? My agenda is no longer in there mixed in. I want to help you, but what am I going to get out of it? That agenda is no more. It doesn't matter if I don't get anything out of it, and you take off, sweet.
Mission
Because
accomplished.
yeah, because I've set it up in my mind where that is the victory, right?
Yeah.
That is the accomplishment, and that is the new high. And just now we just want to do it in a shared experience with people. So
It's so funny because I went through a very similar journey myself, and I'll shut up after I share this in like 60 seconds or less. But because I know that you want to answer Sandy's question about how
yes,
the system works and such. So,
yes,
but like for me, it was experiencing the breakthrough. That serious breakthrough where your paradigm immediately shifts and everything's different. Like that experience for me was like where it's at. Then I discovered, within the last 10 years, as I, was in my late 40s, into my 50s, and the only thing for me that's better than experiencing the breakthrough and the paradigm shift for myself is helping somebody else to facilitate them having their opportunity for that breakthrough. And that to me is even better than the joy of experiencing it personally, to be able to in some way, shape, or form contribute to somebody else's breakthrough, and know that it wasn't because of you, but it certainly you played a role in helping it happen. Man, that's joy for me.
oh yeah, yeah. I keep a lot of the cards that that people have sent me over the years, and I just look at them, and that's what I'm going to remember. Not just the experiences that I had personally, but all the cool, amazing people that I got to meet, and that, have had amazing experiences and journeys as a result of, our interactions together. I mean, that's awesome. So, and of course, Zig Ziglar, one of my heroes, he said, help enough other people get what they want and you'll get what you want. And he didn't mean get more money. I just didn't understand it, because at the time I thought that meant get more money, get more success, get more fame, get more attention. But what he really meant was get more fulfillment, a greater sense of contribution, amazing friends. I don't think of my clients as clients. I think of them as friends, and I'm very blessed with my friends. And so, and so I've been able to meet such amazing.
I don't know if I froze or if you froze. If you guys can still see me, and let me know in the comments here. I'm not sure if the problem is on my end or on Tim's end. Hopefully it's not my end, because that would mean that the whole thing is down. All right. I see a victory folder to look at when things are great. So yeah, there's still a little bit of lag time. I'm not sure. Let me, Tim's frozen. Thanks, Dan. I appreciate it. Awesome. Tim, you're frozen, so you can't hear me. Well, let's try this then. I'm going to boot you out of the picture for a second, and then hopefully you'll realize that there you go. All right. Woohoo. Let's add Tim back in. Oh, nope. He's still frozen up. Well, we'll punt for a minute. So a victory folder, you were saying, winning ways. I'm assuming that Tim knows your actual name behind that. So pardon me for not calling you by your name, but a victory folder to look at when things aren't going great. Yep, success breeds success for sure. And what about for you all? Where does it come into play from your point of view? From like how does this show up for you? Do you enjoy empowering other people? Does that also charge you with energy, or does that do you feel like drained? Because the other piece of malware that I used to struggle with, or theme of it, is like, well, I have to conserve my energy, because if I give too many good ideas or too much juice to one thing, then there won't be enough left for me or for the next thing or whatever. And the reality is, the more that you give, genuinely give, the more there is to give. So like with energy, the more like that. So I don't know where we're at. Maybe I'm not broadcasting anymore. So anyhow, anybody got anything else? Maybe Tim had to restart his computer or something. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Do 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 do. Well, I'm fine. Okay. Well, if there's, thank you very much, by the way, Cassandra. Appreciate it. Sent Tim a text. Great. Okay. And he just texted me. Um, yeah, he's trying to reconnect. He thinks it's a we thing, but I think we've sussed it out that it's a him thing. um, so give me 1 second and I will attempt to let him know. Hey, Tim, we're still live here, and I'm live. I think the freezing up was on your end, and because everybody can still see me and they're interacting in the comments with me. So if you wouldn't mind maybe closing out of your browser and then try reconnecting to that same thing, and then I'll see you when you pop in there, and I'll be able to add you back in. All right? Thanks, man. Righty. So that handles that. Isn't technical snafus grand? All right, so let's see. Let me catch up with some comments here. Sandra says, seeing the clients make positive changes is the most rewarding thing. Absolutely. It's a feeling the love between the people working. Yeah, I could not agree more, Sandra. Amen. And there's really no better feeling in the world, you know? I mean, like, it's just awesome. Thanks for sending Tim the text. I will, they're winning ways, and malware. Yeah, it's what's affecting our technical stuff, right? It's the malware. And, you know, I mean, that's just kind of the thing. Like, you know, people like to get ticked off at technology, right? And the fact of the matter is that when you are choosing to work in such a cutting edge thing, that these snafus are standard. They happen all the time. And the challenge is to, like, how do you roll with it when they do happen? So yeah, you know, like, and that's life in general, right? Like, there's some curveballs that come up, and it's not the curveballs, because those are the only things that are probably an absolute guarantee. The thing that I think is the not guaranteed is how we choose to respond to it. Do we choose to let it be the excuse that we have, the circumstance that is right now, to say, well, it just wasn't meant to be, you know, fate stepped in and it just wasn't meant to be? Or do we, you know, just take it, you know, and use it as an excuse to live from vision? All right, I'm now getting a ring-a-ding-ding. There's Tim. You're back, but you're frozen again. Oh, now you're there. I think your internet connection might be spotty, man.
It is. Look, I'm all fuzzy. I'm not sure what's going on. I put it on a hotspot. I'm going to try to switch it up again. So just bear with me.
You might be able to go right from your iPhone, if you want, directly into the browser on that link. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Scintillating video, isn't it? Well, let's see. I could have some fun. We could do this. Ah, I'm on my head. I could do this. Do 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 do. Well, at least I'm entertaining myself, right? Tell us a joke. I don't know any clean ones, Sandra. Um, my New York City upbringing is coming back. I'm sure I know some good ones, but all that's coming to mind are little Johnny jokes, and these probably aren't appropriate for right now. What else? Let's see. Well, I mean, we can use the time to discuss some more of this if we want. How does a how does a hamburger introduce his wife? And with the time lapse here, we'll have to wait to find out. How does a hamburger introduce his wife? That's the question. Anybody else have an answer before we get the answer? A hot tomato? That's great. That's great. Very good, very good, very good. Well, you know the standard one. Why was 6 scared of 7? Because 7, 8, 9. I used to know some good dad jokes, but now that my daughter is 21 going on 40, she wants nothing to do with me, so I've lost all my dad joke capabilities. Oh, meat patty. A hot tomato, meat patty. Oh, both are good. Oh, that's funny. All right, I'm know that Tim's working on it, but hopefully, you said it before I could type it. Yeah, yeah. I'm not a very fast typer myself. Well, at least we're getting some community time, right? All right, let me just check some other channels here to make sure that I'm not missing anything. All right. All right, let's see. Tim, are you back? Can you hear us? Shake your head. I can see you blink.
Okay. Can you hear me all right?
Now I can hear you. I couldn't hear you before. You were just kind of staring at us.
Okay. So, and the videos all froze up.
It was just you, my man.
Okay. So obviously there's something wrong with my internet. My 13-year-old came flying in the room and he said, the internet's down. What's going on? So I'm not sure exactly. I'm going to probably have to reset the box, but as long as you can hear me, we can continue to move forward till I can get it figured out.
Yeah, I think we should probably, in the interest of before you lose your connection again, whatever you wanted to sum up, we should get in there, and then if we have time that it continues to work for you, that way, if you lose the connection again, you've said what you want to say.
Okay, yeah. So I apologize, everybody. I'm not sure exactly what is going on there, but as far as how the program works is Sandy had asked, how does this method work? Basically, what happens is we get together for a period of time. Joshua, and I am having technology blow-ups right now, Joshua. So, all right, I'm going to take my own deep breaths. So we get together with a group of amazing people and we start going through what we call our malware scans. to figure out where the malware is showing up in somebody's life specifically. And the only way to do that is to ask a series of questions and then listen to how people respond. I am very good at picking up mental malware because I've been doing it for 26 years with thousands of clients. And so my brain is well trained to be able to pick it up and notice things that you might not notice otherwise. And so it's really important to be able to talk with people, because then I can pick up what's going on, how they said something, the way somebody said something, when they paused, when they took a breath, the words that they used to describe their experience. That combination of data goes into my brain, and my brain is instantly like, okay, I know what the belief is. I know what the malware is. I know what the challenge is that we really need to solve. Not the presenting symptoms of how do I make more money, or how do I feel more peaceful in life, which of course happens when you get rid of the mental malware. But that's usually not the pressing issue. And that's why people keep getting stuck, because they're always trying to solve the wrong problem. So through that interaction, we're able to do these malware scans and figure out what the malware is. And the malware are usually limiting beliefs that are inside of us and those beliefs tend to be very common, especially among the 5 different entrepreneurial operating system types, which Joshua and I haven't talked that much about, but we will be down the road. But it's not just the common beliefs that sabotage us or the malware. It's also how it shows up in your life specifically. And for that, it's different for everyone. Everybody has a different experience and a different way that the malware has kind of infiltrated us and sabotages us. And so the only way, there is no one size fits all approach. It's just a matter of literally when we do a group, we still are having people share personal experiences so that we can figure out how the malware has showed up in your life specifically. And that process of doing those live malware scans in front of a group of people is so powerful, because then the group is able to experience how malware affects us without feeling like you're in the hot seat. You can see it easier in others. You can recognize it easier in others than we sometimes can in ourselves. And also, sometimes we can feel like we're being judged or criticized, which is malware. That more malware in there we want to get rid of, so that you take feedback as an opportunity for growth more than anything else. But it also allows you to see, what other people are going through, so that you can recognize it in them as well. See, Joshua and I have 2 agendas. 1, to help clear you from any mental malware. And then 2, to teach you how to do it for others. Because again, if you can do it, then you can really master it and understand it and more effectively get rid of it when it shows up inside of you again. And that's something that's unique as well. Most of the time, you just have some guru who's leading the sessions. And the problem with having a guru, what Joshua calls the guru paradox, is that when the guru's not in the room, the growth stops, or we become dependent on our guru, which is often what messes up coaching relationships. So we don't want you dependent on us. And in our opinion, the whole group will become gurus. Right? The whole group is going to learn how to recognize malware and how to remove it in themselves and in others, so that we continue to use the power of the group to get people growing and benefiting from the wisdom that everybody in the group has. And that is very, very special, because now instead of having one expert in the room, every single person in the room is an expert. And we can help each other grow. We can catch the malware. We can catch the little details maybe, or the aha moments, or the moments of brilliance that we might not have been able to catch otherwise. And we're able to do that. So, that's the power of having a group experience, is that you're able to you're able to really get in there and both recognize where the malware has infected people, get it out, and then using the group experience, upgrade your entire operating system so that all the programming, all the tools, all the work you've already done will be able to kick in at 100%. And that's when the game changes. That's when you're making those bold moves. That's when you're no longer procrastinating. That's when you are following through and trusting yourself and trusting others and relying, so that we're not codependent, but we're interdependent upon each other. So now you don't feel like you're out there by yourself anymore. You've got a team of extraordinary people who are helping you personally and specifically to make your dreams come true. And that's the process that we use to be able to recognize malware and then to actually upgrade it. And upgrading the malware is,
Tim froze again. Yep, he's gone. Okay. Well, while he was doing that, I grabbed a link. Tim put together a 5-page PDF document that goes in detail on all the different aspects of what goes on during the organized program that he's putting together. And yeah, I saw that, Sandra, he froze. So I put in the comments, it's a tiny URL that we set up. And if you want, you can click on that and then download the PDF right from there. And that gives a detailed understanding of how it works. And if you want a little bit more of an overview of the platform itself and how everything that Tim was just describing kind of comes into play, then there's a link in the bottom of the PDF there that you can click on, and it'll take you to a deeper explanation of the framework and how it all kind of gets pulled together. And that should, combined with everything that we've been discussing Friday today, what Tim just explained, along with the other aspects of it, you should be able to then have a good, clear understanding of the system itself and how it all comes into play. Tim, what I was just explaining is that I put in the link to your PDF of the overview.
Joshua, if I am in the broadcast, I can't see myself, but if I am on the air as it says, then I apologize. Obviously, I'm having some internet issues today. It's unusual, so I got to figure it out. But you can go ahead and take everybody home with the information that you have. And then I'll just be with you guys. We'll be back tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel.
All right.
Thanks.
And while Tim is wrapping up here, because he obviously couldn't hear me, what I'll share with you is that I just put the link in again. Sandra, you said you couldn't see the link. I just put it in separately. It's HTTP, tinyurl.com /Obeus Mastery. But it's a whole lot easier if you just click on the link in the comments there. But if you just look through the comments, I can also reply to, let's see, I'll reply to you. Oh, well, maybe I put it in the wrong spot. No, I don't think I did. I put it in the main area. So I put it within the thread that you were commenting on. And I also put it in the main comment thread. So if you go back to the main one and maybe set up your comments so that you can see all the different comments. Oh, cool. All right, you got it. Awesome. And then with that, we'll wrap this up. And so that should give you an understanding. And any questions that you might have, we can go in depth on. Hopefully the Tim's internet tomorrow will be better. And as I think he said that hopefully made it through to you guys, tomorrow is our next session, and also at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. and Thursday will be our next one as well. And if you all have some particular things that you'd like to discuss and you'd like to come on to the broadcast, in the interview here, let Tim know that you're interested in what you'd like to discuss, and private message him, and I'll make sure that if we can fit it in, that you get the link to be able to join, and hopefully we'll have these internet issues behind us, and or at least enough behind us to get the show across. So thank you very much, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow and or Thursday. And oh, by the way, these recordings are available on YouTube, on the various YouTube channels, the various so yes, great. So that's the deal, and I'll see you all then. Thanks very much.